Some wounds do not come from strangers. They come from the person who was supposed to love you first. The person who held you before you even knew what the world was. The person whose approval you spent your entire childhood quietly reaching for without ever fully understanding why it never quite arrived. My name is Amara. And the most painful truth I have ever had to accept is this: my mother loved us both. But she did not love us equally. And for the longest time I told myself that was something I had imagined. Something I was being too sensitive about. Something I needed to get over. I was not imagining it. I grew up in a home with my older brother Cameron and my parents. From the outside we looked completely ordinary. A normal family. Sunday meals and school runs and birthday cakes with candles. But inside our house there was a current running underneath everything. Invisible to guests. Completely obvious to me. Cameron could do no wrong. Not because he was perfect. He was far from it. He was careless with money from the time he was a teenager. He broke things and forgot promises and left messes that other people cleaned up. But when Cameron did those things, my mother found reasons. He is still finding himself. He has a good heart. He means well. When I made a single mistake, the silence in the room told me everything about how differently we were measured. I was the responsible one by default. Not because anyone asked me to be. Because the space for being anything else had already been taken. I studied hard. I caused no trouble. I managed my own problems quietly so nobody had to be bothered. I got a scholarship for university. I graduated with honors. I built a career that I was genuinely proud of. My mother came to my graduation. She took photos. She smiled. On the drive home she spent 40 minutes talking about how she hoped Cameron would find his direction soon. That she worried about him. That she wished he had the same opportunities one had been given. I sat in the passenger seat and looked out the window and said nothing. Because what was there to say? She did not see it. She had never seen it. And some part of me had spent my entire life hoping that one day she would turn and look at me, really look, and say, "I see you, Amara. I see everything you have done. I am proud of you." But what I did not know that graduation day was that things were about to get much worse before anything got better. 3 years after I graduated I had built a stable life. My own apartment. A job I had worked hard for. A small amount of savings that I protected carefully because I had learned young that no one else would protect it for me. Cameron had done none of those things. He was 31 and still moving between jobs. Still borrowing money. Still arriving at our parents' house with problems that needed solving. And my mother still solved every single one without hesitation. Then one evening she called me. Her voice had that particular tone I had learned to brace for over the years. The tone that meant something was coming that I was not going to like but that I was expected to accept gracefully. She said Cameron was in serious financial trouble. That he had borrowed from the wrong people and the situation had become urgent. That she needed me to contribute a significant amount to help settle it. I asked her how much. She told me. It was more than 3 months of my salary. I was quiet for a moment. Then I asked her one question. I asked her if she had ever once called Cameron and asked him to help with anything related to me. She did not answer immediately. Then she said that was different. That Cameron struggled more than I did. That I was stronger. That she knew I could handle things and she worried about him in a way she did not need to worry about me. And there it was. The clearest it had ever been said out loud. My strength was being used as a reason to take from me. My stability was being treated as a resource for someone else. And my mother, the woman who was supposed to see me first, was telling me that being capable meant being responsible for someone who had never once been responsible for himself. I did not give the money. I said I was sorry but I could not do it. That I had worked too hard for what I had and I could not put my own stability at risk. My mother went very quiet. Then she said she was disappointed in me. That family meant sacrifice. That she had sacrificed for me and she expected the same. I wanted to ask her when. When had she sacrificed for me in the way she meant? In the way she would have sacrificed for Cameron without a second thought and without keeping score. But I did not ask it. I just said I love you and I am sorry, and I ended the call. What followed was 6 weeks of near silence from my mother. Occasional short messages. Formal and careful in a way that felt like punishment. Cameron did not contact me at all. I went through those weeks feeling something I had not expected. Not guilt. Something older and deeper. Grief. For the mother I had needed her to be. For the childhood version of me who had worked so hard to earn something that was never actually on the table. I let myself grieve it properly. Every night for 2 weeks I sat with it. I did not push it away. I did not tell myself to be stronger. I just felt it. Until it became something I could carry differently. Until everything changed with one phone call on a Wednesday morning. My aunt called me. My mother's older sister. A woman who had always watched our family quietly and said very little. She said she needed to tell me something she had been holding for a long time. She told me that my mother had grown up in a family where the sons were everything and the daughters were expected to support them silently. That she had never been taught to see daughters as people who needed the same fierce protection she gave her sons. That it was not an excuse. But it was a truth. She said my mother loved me. But she had been shaped by something broken long before I arrived. And she had passed it on without ever realizing it. I sat with that for a very long time. It did not fix everything. But it moved something in me. 2 months later Cameron's situation collapsed completely in a way that my mother's covering for him could not contain. The full picture of how he had been managing, and mismanaging, his life for years became visible to everyone including my mother. For the first time she could not find a reason. She could not rearrange the facts into a shape that protected him. She called me on a Sunday evening. Her voice was tired in a way I had not heard before. She said she had been thinking about what I had asked her. About whether she had ever called Cameron to help with something for me. She said the answer was no. And she said she understood now why I had asked. It was not a grand apology. It was not the dramatic moment of recognition I had imagined as a child. It was quiet and imperfect and human. But it was real. I told her I was not angry anymore. That I had spent a long time being angry and then a longer time being sad, and that I was ready now to just be her daughter. On honest terms. Without pretending the past had not happened, but without carrying it between us forever either. She cried quietly on the other end of the line. I let her. Here is what I know now. Some parents love their children with a love that has blind spots carved into it by their own pain and their own upbringing. That does not make the hurt they cause less real. But it does mean that sometimes the wound was never really about you. I spent years trying to earn equal love by being exceptional. By being strong. By never needing anything. What I finally understood was that I had always deserved that love simply by existing. Not by performing. Not by being easier than my brother. Not by causing less trouble. Just by being Amara. That realization did not come from my mother. It came from me. And that is the most important place it could have ever come from.